me for the Q&A. They've been absolutely crushing it so far this season, so let's give it up for them. Thank you so much for being here, and without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Who is ready? Okay, so you've both been playing hockey for a long time, but Abby, it's your second season playing for the Sirens. Last year, you only played at the Peru twice, so now it's your home ice for every game. What stands out to you about playing at the Rock?
I think one of the biggest things is last year we played obviously just 2 games at the Peru, but I think those 2 games had some of the best energy we had at a home game out of the fans. Like, we could hear you while we were on the ice, and I think that makes it a lot harder to play as the other team and a lot easier for us when we know the fans are behind us. So knowing that the fans who come to the Prudential and support us are just ready to rock and ready to cheer us on, it's really special for us.
Yeah, we have the best fans, and you've mentioned before that growing up playing with boys, it's impacted your play on the ice and that you're more physical, you love to chirp, but off the ice, you're a completely different person. So what is one thing people would be surprised to learn about who you are off the ice?
I think I'm just a lot nicer. It's something I get a lot. I mean, a lot of the girls I've only played against, Phillier's one of them until this year, and I think when you only play against me, I come off a certain way, which I'm not mad about. But when I'm off the ice, I think it's a completely different kind of person. I just like to be, honestly, a jokester and have a good time and be a good person, so.
Yeah, it's like a nice little duality that we've got going on. And now I'm gonna kick it off to Sarah. So you were the #1 overall pick this year, and it's your first year on the team. So coming into arguably the biggest sports culture in the world, and Micah had mentioned the Gotham team won 2 years ago, the Liberty won this past year. So how do you handle that pressure, and what do you do to stay focused?
Yeah, I think the pressure of coming into a market like New York is exciting, but at the end of the day, I think it's a privilege to be able to wear this jersey, or our brand new jerseys, which a lot of you guys have on in here. They look awesome. And yeah, I mean, when you think of New York, it's such an iconic city. You think of the sports teams that represent this city are huge names in the sports world. So being part of it is special, and hopefully we can get that 3rd championship.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, being a rookie, it requires adjusting to the league and to your new team. So how do you manage the balance between focusing on your own development while building chemistry with your new teammates?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we're all trying to be the best, versions of ourselves when we hit that ice, and every game we're trying to get better as a group. But I think just being a new player, being a rookie in this league, and coming in with a bunch of new draftees, it's just how do we continue to build relationships and get close to each other. At the end of the day, it's all about wanting to play for the person beside you. So I think the closer we can connect as a team is the key to things.
Absolutely, it starts within. So let's get technical for a minute. You're both fast and powerful skaters. Our fan, Eric, wants to know, for any future Sirens players in the audience today, what exercises or drills do you think have had the largest impact on the speed of your skating and your edge work?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's necessarily like a specific drill or a specific thing to do, but I think when you're trying to work on like a skill like edge work or shooting or anything, I think when you're doing those drills to work on them, it's okay to let yourself know that it's okay to fail, it's okay to fall, it's okay to miss the net. And I think when you really push yourself outside of your comfort zone, that's when you're really going to get better. So especially in practice, don't be afraid to mess up and fail. And at the end of the day, that's going to get you where you want to be. I will say I'm not probably the fastest on the team, but obviously I think, like she said, like growing up, there's a lot of skating drills, and you kind of like other people are watching you, and you get a little. Say you're working on one foot something, and you fall, and you don't want to fall again because everybody's watching. But it's true, like to get good on your edges, you have to commit. You have to be able to just commit and fall sometimes, and get better at doing those certain things. So it is about being okay with trial and error, and just figuring out where you fall on your skates and your blades.
Amazing. That's good to know for everybody here. So we do have a few more questions from the fans. Danielle wants to know, how can we as fans best support you from the stands? What do you like to see that gets you hyped up during a game?
I love friendship bracelets. Throw them over the boards at me in warm-ups. But yeah, obviously we've had a lot of great signs. We've seen a lot of really honestly like funny comedic signs, which I think for all of us, like we love skating around in warm-ups and seeing that stuff on the glass, and when we can hear you guys chant and all that stuff while we're playing in the game, it really does mean a lot, and it's something that brings us energy while we're playing.
Yeah, I would echo the bracelets. I got my first one today, so I'm really excited. Yeah, I think when you guys show up and are loud and engaged, it's super awesome for us. But like Greg said earlier, we want to make this a destination and a great place to play. And when teams come in and play Prudential Center, we want them to be scared. And I think when we're super loud in the stands, that makes an impact.
Absolutely. Fans, you heard it here first, so take notes, and I imagine we'll see a lot of friendship bracelets and some great signs this season, as well as some loud cheering. Becca also wants to know, another fan, who is your toughest opponent to face on the ice?
I would probably say Marie-Philippe Glenn in Montreal. It's been nice to be on her team for the last couple of years, but playing against her, she's one of the best players in the world, will go down as one of the best players in the world. She's super clutch, so you always got to keep an eye on her at the end of the games too, but I would probably go with her.
Definitely not a wrong answer. I think for me, I feel like every time we play Boston, Megan Keller is everywhere where I want to be, and always is a really great defensive presence to play with and against, but she's somebody every game we play her, get on the ice with her, it's truly hard to have the puck on your stick and be productive because she's a very tough opponent to play against.
Yeah, that's great, and good for all of you fans to know to bring the extra heat when we play against Montreal and Boston.
Yes.
And so, finally, our 6-year-old fan, Judy, asked, when did you start playing your respective position, and how did you know that that's what you wanted to play?
I wasn't like fully a center until college. Probably I was a winger more in high school, but I was still playing boys hockey in high school, and I wasn't quite as fast as I needed to be sometimes, so I got put on the wing. My dad still tells me I should have been a D, so I think I just got stuck at center eventually at Wisconsin, and then I never quite left.
Yeah, I grew up in a really big hockey family. My older brother played hockey and was kind of the reason I put skates on. He was a center and scored lots of goals, so I want to be like him, and it's always fun to score goals too. And then I've been a forward ever since, playing the wing a little bit this year, which is fun, but anything up front is good to see.
That's awesome to hear. So, let's switch gears for a little bit and talk about some lighter things. Who's the funniest person on the team? Need a good story, maybe.
I mean, I've only been here for a couple months.
It's Jill, and I don't even think she means to be. It's just no. It is a good thing. She makes all of us laugh all the time, but a lot of days the stories she comes into the rink with are truly special.
Well, Jill's so awesome. Let's give it up for Jill. So another question we have is, if you weren't a professional hockey player, what do you think you'd be doing instead? That's a good question.
I feel like I would still be somewhere in sports, but honestly, I'd probably be more on like this marketing or social media side of it if I wasn't playing. But besides that, I don't know, bartending.
That's a good question. I grew up playing a ton of sports, played a ton of sports in high school. I watched a ton of WNBA, so maybe I'd try and be a basketball player.
That's so interesting, actually. And do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions that you swear by, or like you have to do before you play a game?
I would like to say they're more routines than superstitions, but I think the only thing I really do is like take a pregame nap. Usually like an hour and 20. I always mix that in, but that's only the real things that I have to do.
That's necessary.
I feel like I have a lot of like little things, nothing like crazy. I'd say my main thing is when I get on the ice, I go to the same spot to stretch every time, do the same exact routine, which I like to call it a routine, but I think it's definitely superstitious at this point. But I'm always on that face-off dot. Peyton's always right next to me, so it's kind of become our thing since coming to the team last year.
I mean, I think everybody needs a good routine, so it's really important to have one. And before we close off, let's finish with a quick rapid fire. So I'm gonna fire away at you 1, 2, 3 words answer, okay? Who's at the top of your Spotify Wrapped list?
I think mine was Taylor Swift.
I need Taylor Swift.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
I would like to get some speed.
I think to be able to fly.
Favorite food?
Ice cream.
Sushi.
Dream line partner?
Like anybody ever.
Anyone ever?
I would love to play with like Sidney Crosby.
Maybe McDavid.
What's your New Year's resolution?
Spend less money.
Maybe clean my apartment.
Good one. One word to describe Sirens fans.
Proud.
Passionate.
Amazing. So, Abby and Sarah, thank you again for all of these awesome stories. It's been so much fun chatting with you. Let's give them a big round of applause.